like to call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please, clerk?
Alderman Ashour. Alderman
Here.
Berry.
Here.
Alderman Bevere.
Here.
Alderman Davalos.
Here.
Alderman Goodman.
Here.
Alderman Hoffman is absent this evening, and Alderman Widener is also absent this evening, and Alderman Wilson.
Here.
Thank you. Will you please stand as you're able and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now is the time that we set aside for citizens' comments. I don't have anyone who signed up for this evening, but if there is any interest in speaking on an agenda item, when we come to that item, please raise your hand and let me know. Next is officials and staff comments, and we'll start with the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. A big thank you for the 4th of July committee again this year. Colin Wilkie and that dedicated bunch did a terrific job for that celebration. Karen Johannick for the parade. Every year it gets better. Karen, great job. Lots of compliments from folks. A reminder to the community, I mean, we all had a great time there. These folks meet year-round. This isn't something that they get together on the 3rd of July and decide what they're going to do. This takes an enormous amount of planning and foresight to make it come off as smoothly as it does, and you can tell that people do a good job when it goes smoothly and you don't notice it. So a big thanks to everyone who volunteers for the 4th of July committee every year. This year especially, it was super. I heard nothing but compliments from the citizens and the people at the park. And for the parade, again, Karen, great job. Thank you all so much. We have another event coming up, which is another great event, the National Night Out, which is August 1st from 5 to 9 p.m. at Cerny Park. This has turned into another one of our signature events. The police department does a terrific job of interfacing with the community this evening. A great family event, lots of neat things to do, free food, free giveaways, all kinds of good stuff going on. The fire department, EMA's there, everyone's there, the PD. There will be a mayor's booth. I'll be there. If you want to tickle my ear about something, I'd be happy to talk to you. But it's a really, really good event. We've gotten 2 national awards for that event. For the size of our community, we're among the best in the nation. So come out and find out why. It's a good time. Again, bring the family, bring the kids, and have a good time. The last thing, we have a number of construction projects going on in town. I drive around every once in a while to see how they're going. They're a huge mess. This is the nature, unfortunately, of sewer and water and road work. I personally really appreciate what I hear from citizens in terms of your patience, knowing that it's a real pain for a while, but when it's done, it's going to be much, much better. So please keep that in mind. And if you ever have any questions about what's going on, why certain things are done a certain way, or if you need some help on something, don't hesitate to call City Hall and ask to speak to somebody. We'll be happy to get back to you. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other officials' comments? Yes, Clerk Larson, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I echo what the mayor said about the 4th of July. It runs so smoothly, and they dedicate the whole year. They've probably started meeting already. And again, it was an honor to be a parade marshal, and it was the best birthday celebration ever. Thank you. We'll leave it at that. Warrenville in Bloom has a 10-year anniversary party this Friday night at Cerny Park at 7 o'clock. You all elected officials have been invited. We would love to have you there so we can thank you for your support. And we have, last I heard, a little over 75 people coming. So people with yards who have been recognized, and the volunteers that help us every year plant the flowers and pull the weeds and maintain everything. We, too, have gotten an amazing amount of compliments for the flowers this year. For some reason, we've got the magic formula, and the baskets are beautiful, and the bridges are beautiful, and so we hope that that continues through the rest of the summer. And again, everybody on Warrenville and Bloom appreciates the support of the city and the council. Thank you. And TAC grant money. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk. Any other officials with comments? Yes, Alderman Berry.
I would just like to say that concerning Warrenville and Bloom, while I was at 4th of July, I had numerous people come to me and tell me how beautiful the flowers were this year, and especially the baskets that are attached to the bridge at Williams Road. They really, really loved them. And of course, they complimented the everything that was done for the 4th of July, and what a great experience it is for them to come there every year. Then it's just a great family night out for both nights, actually, and all the things that go on during the day for the kids. So I'd like to thank everybody from the 4th of July Committee, Friends of the 4th, and for Warrenville and Bloom for making our city beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Anyone else? All right, moving to the business of the meeting. Item 1 is the consideration of an additional funding request from the Warrenville Historical Society. I'll start with Assistant City Administrator White.
Thank you. Included in your packet this evening is a staff memo from Finance Director Dahlstrand and I about this request from the Warrenville Historical Society. There are 2 separate requests within their letter. The first is additional funding for the director curator position that was for funds predominantly not used in fiscal year 2016 that they're requesting to have reimbursed with fiscal year 18 funds. The second is a request regarding funds that were originally approved as part of the hotel motel tax grant program for fiscal year 16, which were not requested in accordance with the guidelines of the program in a timely fashion, and therefore for that reason, because it would deviate from the program requirements for the hotel motel tax grant, in that case staff is recommending denying that request. For the first one, as an exception, a one-time exception for the director curator position, staff is recommending approval. Both Finance Director Dahlstrand and I are available to answer questions about these 2 options.
Thank you very much. Are there questions? Alderman Berry.
This is not a question, it's really more of a comment. It's unusual for the Warrenville Historical Society to turn in their paperwork late, and I feel terrible that we would have to tell them no, because they do a lot of good things for the city and in keeping our history and letting the citizens know what has gone before in the city of Warrenville. But we have denied other people money because they did not turn their paperwork in late. And therefore, like I said, I do this with a heavy heart, that we really need to deny them, because it would be not right to give them money and have denied other people. So it's unfortunate that that's the way it's happened, but maybe this is a learning experience for the Historical Society.
Yes, Alderman Davalos.
Yes, I just need to ask a clarifying question about this amendment A, I guess. So this money that was left over in a previous year budget, the $5,000, that is going to the salary of the director? They're using that? Is that a raise, or is that just going for other general expenses for the Historical Society?
No, it's directly related to the director's salary, the $15,000 that the city approves every year for that position.
Right. Right.
It was left from fiscal year 16 and not reimbursed, basically. So they're requesting for us to reimburse it this year.
Okay. Thanks.
So I have one question. The memo says that the request came in August. The letter is dated July 15th. How late were they supposed to have, at the very latest, sent in their paperwork?
For the hotel motel tax grant, it's 45 days from the end date of the event is when their final report and all remaining invoices and reimbursement requests are due. The original request came in August. I believe the letter was dated July, but we received it in August.
Okay, and because the fiscal year is obviously May,
Correct.
That's months after our fiscal year ended, and their walking tour is sort of an ongoing event. It's not like a concrete, here's when the event was and here's 45 days later. So how do you judge that?
In that situation, we would go through, use the April 30th date as the end date. So it would be 45 days from that date.
Okay, so if they'd even gotten it in just 2 months earlier, it still would have been timely.
Yes, and we have events that occur in the later part of the fiscal year, and we do allow them typically until approximately the second week of June to submit those requests and final reports. But once the fiscal year is closed, we can't go back and reimburse on a closed fiscal year.
Right, I mean, you'd need a whole new budget amendment or something like that from the council. It's not something staff can just do unilaterally. I understand. Any other questions or discussion? I would entertain a motion. Alderman Berry.
I'd like to make a motion to, where are we? Here we go. Action number 1, recommend approval of the request from the Warrenville Historical Society to be reimbursed for the director-curator position from the City Hotel Motel Fund in FY 2018 in the amount of $5,711.25, which is made up of $5,604 from FY 16 and $107.25 from FY 2017. Action number 2, recommend the City Council deny the request from the Warrenville Historical Society for reimbursement of $2,112 for the FY 2016 walking tour due to non-compliance with the Hotel Motel Tax Grant Program requirements.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Berry, a second by Alderman Bevere. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 is the consideration of the carnival permit from the Warrenville Park District for Summer Days 2017. Senior Planner Doma Basova.
Attached with the agenda backup, you have an application for carnival permit. This year, the applicant is Fundways of Illinois. It's a newer company, and they propose to operate the carnival on August 4th and 5th during the annual Summer Days event. The proposed operation would be consistent with the setup and layout of the event as it took place in the past. Previous years will be up to 7 rides. They would be set up on the city-owned property in the east end of Stafford Place right away, and would take partially the former MB Bank property parking lot. Staff summarized and put a list of conditions that we recommend for approval to get along with this request. And I would like to just point out 2 of the conditions, condition number 5 and condition number 7. As you can see, they require certain information to be submitted by Monday, July 10th, which is today. Well, unfortunately, the Park District informs us that the carnival operator was not able to prepare this information for today, but they are actively working on this information, and they need a little more time to submit that. From the staff perspective, I don't see that being a problem to give them another week until, let's say, July 17th. And if you have any questions, we also have Park District representative here, Jordan Reel, who can speak on behalf of the applicant.
Jordan, would you like to come forward? If you can speak at the microphone so anyone watching on television can hear. Yeah, sure.
So we are hoping that we can get this extension for these two last items. Fundways of Illinois has really done us a great service by stepping in when our original carnival people kind of backed out last minute. I know we worked a lot with the chamber to try to get this Fundways of Illinois in, and they're really trying to get everything done in a timely manner. And I understand, but I said I feel like a stalker trying to call them and email them, and we just need two more things, two more items. But they really stepped up for us, so we're hoping to get this extension to give them a little bit more time.
Yes, I'm on the Summer Days Committee, the representative for the City Council myself, and at our last meeting, there was some frantic discussions about what we might do instead if we couldn't get another carnival to step up, because at that point, we'd had the cancellation but didn't have Funways yet signed up. And, you know, some of the ideas were pretty wacky, and I'm so glad we don't have to go there. This is a big improvement, and I'm so glad that we were able to find another carnival company on such short notice, you know, after being rather cruelly ditched by the other carnival company unexpectedly.
So we were a little bit panicked, so they really have stepped up. So,
yeah. All right, any questions or comments from anyone? I would entertain a motion. Alderman Berry.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend the City Council approve a request from Fundways of Illinois for a carnival permit, subject to compliance with all the conditions and requirements set by city staff dated June 30th, 2017.
Second.
As amended, perhaps? Yeah. Is it all right if we change the motion so that it says
Yes.
that memo as amended?
As amended.
Okay. And the seconder agrees?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, moving on to item number 3, consideration of a request to dispose of surplus unclaimed found property, in other words, 12 bicycles, through donation to Working Bikes. Deputy Chief Leonard.
Thank you. The police department currently holds found property being 12 bicycles for disposal, which have been unclaimed for more than 6 months by the owner and do not serve a city need. Deputy Chief Jacobson has suggested these bicycles be donated to Working Bikes. Working Bikes rescues discarded bicycles, refurbishes them, and then redistributes them in local and global communities for homeless, refugee, and youth empowerment programs. With city approval, the police department has previously donated unclaimed bicycles to Working Bikes in conjunction with the 2016 Bike Rodeo event. Representatives from Working Bikes will come to the police department to remove the bicycles, thereby eliminating any cost to the city. The committee action requested is to recommend the City Council approve an ordinance authorizing disposal of city-owned property through a donation to Working Bikes.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Alderman Berry.
Okay, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to recommend the City Council approve an ordinance authorizing the disposal of city-owned property through donation to Working Bikes.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Berry, second by Alderman Bevere. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And the fourth item, consideration of a request to dispose of surplus city property utilizing Obanov Auction Services for 2 seized vehicles. Again, Deputy Chief Leonard.
The city currently owns 2 seized vehicles that were awarded by the DuPage County Circuit Clerk as a result of forfeitures from arrests made by a police department from various criminal activities. Past practice for disposal of city-owned vehicles and property that are no longer needed for any of the city departments has been to sell the property at auction. The police department has previously utilized Obanov Auction Services, Inc. for online auction to dispose of surplus city property and found their services to be professional and well run. Committee action requested is to recommend City Council approve an ordinance authorizing disposal of city-owned property through an auction conducted by Obanov Auction Services.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Alderman Berry?
Okay, one more. I'd like to make a motion to recommend the City Council approve an ordinance authorizing the disposal of city-owned property through an auction conducted by Obanoff Auction Services, Inc.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wilson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. Our last item, G1, miscellaneous, is a commendation. And we do have the letter attached to the packet from the Village of Hinsdale, thanking Detective Mike Pasiak for assisting their department in the investigation of a deceased Hinsdale resident. So we all thank Mike for his good work. Any further business? I don't see any on the agenda, so we have need for one more motion. Alderman Berry.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second by Alderman Wilson. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned.